Alrighty, the Nin Bender continues. Up against number 1 with Maelstrom Wanderer. Better look out. I heard this guy's number 1. I have a, not an amazing draw, but certainly very keepable, given he's got Map and Condescend and 2 land. Like probably middle of the road, maybe 30th, 40th percentile. He's mulliganing, which is good. But going first, which is always really scary. This deck is, this commander is just one of those things where sometimes it just gets draws you cannot do anything against. So you just get a good amount of mana ramp, especially something that includes the dreaded Crypt or Soul Ring. You just fall too far behind. I'd say out of all of the commanders in EDH, I have more losses to this thing than to anything. Because it's just one of those things you can't do anything against sometimes. Fortunately, he's opening with Inkmoth Nexus. And when he played this, I was 100% sure I'd be seeing Crypt or Soul Ring to go with it. But I was very relieved when neither arrived. Just going to play a map. He's got a turn 2 pass. Wow. Alright, well his hand must be just a million 2-mana artifacts if he kept that. A bit of a greedy keep there. I would not have ever done that. Certainly not against a blue commander that can counterspell your mana rocks. So he did top deck a land there. He's got a Fellwar Stone. Definitely not letting that resolve. So I see Fellwar Stone and Jace. And as much as I would like to have Jace the Mind Sculptor, I need to get my mana and play more. It's more important. So Jace is going to the bottom. And I know I'm going to be reshuffling with the Expedition map anyway right now. This is my plan to go get Ancient Tomb. From 2 to 5 in 1 turn. It's got a Chrome Mox. So what is that card underneath it? Wildfire? Oh, let me see it. Alright, yeah, it's Wildfire. It's one of these versions. Cold Steel Heart. Continue with the 2-mana spell theme. Blue. Really kind of strange choice anyway, given the fact that he has no green mana that I can see. I draw Rolling Earthquake. About one of the worst cards I could draw at this point. And I'm just going to, I pretty much have plans to Cryptic Command anything that he plays, and I'd actually kind of like to Cryptic Command the Mox. He has no other source of red right now. Ponder. And I'm going to be a little greedy, and I'm just going to Cryptic Command that, hoping to slam his mana issues home. And I get a little bit punished, actually, for that. A greedy Cryptic, because he's got Thirst for Knowledge right afterward. And he's got a good artifact to chuck to it as well. So he just drew 3, basically. And he got a land and a Soul Ring. Wow. Look at that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pretty gnarly. He went from 4 to 7 mana in 1 turn. It's just 1 off of... Oh, now he's got 8. 1 off of the dreaded Cascade Critical Mass. And now he's got it completely. Alright, come on, deck. Deliver. Dack Fayden steps up to the challenge. Says, did somebody cast a Soul Ring? Alright. Well, no way to keep mana untapped. I'm just going to play Dack, steal the Soul Ring. I think that this is obviously a risky play, given that I've got a Hinder in my hand to stop Maelstrom Wanderer. But I think it's the right one, given that it drops him down to 6. And he, unless he draws Ancient Tomb or he draws Mana Crypt, I'll be able to survive Maelstrom until the next turn. I guess you draw Mana Ball too. This is an upkeep Mystical Tutor. And when he got Bribery, I was actually quite elated, thinking, haha, sucker, go ahead and go get a Solemn Simulacrum, because that's all I have in my deck that's worth stealing. Oh wait, I put this guy in recently. Dope. And I guess he could have gotten Phyrexian Metamorph too. But I suppose Clever Impersonator, a little bit more useful, given that it allows him to Dack and steal the Soul Ring right back. Look at this. This is something I've never had happen before. Dack Tug of War on a Soul Ring. And actually, there was something to be said probably for him not doing that and using his Inkmoth Nexus to kill my Dack Fayden, but I guess he really just wanted to copy it. Pretty cool play on his part, actually. I mean, he's got to assume that I have at least Metamorph in my deck, given that it's such a constructed staple in any deck with blue. And now my Dack Fayden can't steal the Soul Ring back. So we have other plans. During upkeep, Mystical Tutoring, the obvious choice comes front and center. Blast. I Actually, I have the perfect mana setup as well to make this work, especially if I draw a land. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I waited to draw first because I really wanted to draw a land before doing this. And since I could just draw the 2 cards with Dack Fayden's ability. Sure enough, there's a mountain on top too, which is quite awesome. Don't need the Power Stone. And I ultimately decided to throw away the Treachery. And the reason I'm keeping Rolling Earthquake is because it gives me a solution to his Dack Fayden if it starts to get a little bit big, plus other possible Planeswalkers, because that's still a way that I could lose the game. Especially now that my Clever Impersonator has been stolen. So play that, and hook you up with Vandal Blast. What a beating that is. 5 for 1. Destroying 5 sources of mana. Or 5 mana total. How small do you feel when you're playing Maelstrom Wanderer and your opponent blows up 5 of your mana artifacts? Or 4 of your mana artifacts for a total of 5 mana. He's still got Dack Fayden though. What's he throw away? Crypt and Yavimaya Coast. Wow. What the hell did he keep? Taiga. Oh, Garruk, okay. That's why he kept the... They both make 2 mana, I suppose. And he puts a beast out. We don't care, because we have the card that's specifically in the deck to deal with Planeswalkers. Rolling Earthquake. Unfortunately, I can't redirect the 3 damage to both these guys. I have to choose one. So this is a no-brainer. Garruk has to die because it makes 2 mana. And the beast dies also, which is very nice. Nin comes down. I've got Hinder mana up and Rewind mana. He's got a Bolt. I thought a little bit about countering this and ultimately decided, you know what, I'd rather just keep the 2 hard counters. He's got 0 cards in hand, so he probably can't dig himself out of this. He just makes me draw 2 and discard 2. My volcanic. No. Gonna charge at the end of the turn. So island. Nin's back. I draw 2 cards again, getting 2 more land, and a very nice strip mine. I'm going to use it to get rid of the Inkmoth Nexus before he decides to start attacking into my commander with it, or into my Planeswalker. Dack Fayden mills himself that time, oddly enough. Power Stone and Jace. Charge. Draw Shackles. Alright, time to rev up the Nin Fires. 6. Copy artifact. Make another Thran Dynamo. At this point he could start screwing around and grabbing Thran Dynamo. But I can always tap it in response, of course, because Dack Fayden doesn't untap it, and then I'll just steal it back. But I'm actually thinking about just Cyclonic Rifting his guy at this point. So he's using stability again. Sylvan Tutor and another mana artifact. There's an Amnesia. Nice. Decided I could use that. Karn. Alright then. Oh, that's one way to deal with Dack Fayden. That's right, and I use the Dack Fayden's ability again. One problem with Dack Fayden is his ultimate is really, really ridiculously dumb. You get an emblem with whenever you cast a spell that targets 1 or more permanents, gain control of those permanents. I mean, really? Really? When is that ever useful? Because pretty much, well, at least in this deck, anything that I would target my opponent's permanents with, spell-wise, would either steal them or bounce them back to their hand. Neither of which would matter. It's kind of a strange ability. I imagine many people have ultimated with Dack Fayden. But maybe there's some deck out there that abuses him. Anyway, he's casting Concentrate off the top. We have a counter for that. And that is all she wrote. Number 1 taps out to Min the Pain Artist. Always fun to dismantle. It's always fun to dismantle this deck. And the punchline of the whole match is this final comment, which I found quite funny. I'll show it to you right here. This is what he said. I said funny earlier when the second Dack Fayden came out, but here we go. At 9:36. Kind of lame. I'm on turn 11 with 5 lands drawn. Really, dude? Are you really going to whine about your mana situation? I mean, come on. First of all, how many lands are you playing? Second of all, you drew Soul Ring and Mana Crypt. top 27 cards. And all colors of mana. I mean, really, that's why I play with Vandal Blast. You just forgot about the part where I destroy three-quarters of your mana with one spell. But that's the way it goes. Sometimes you just gotta make excuses for why you get dominated by this goofy little commander. More games to come. See you soon.